Laura and I were both standing in Downing Street when Rishi Sunak made his last speech as Prime Minister, and he said he would remain as Conservative Party leader until the process for selecting his successor is in place. I think at first blush that sounded to some people like he was saying he would stay until his successor was in place, but it was not that
what he
at
said
all.
at all.
It was a holding position to allow the Conservative Party, basically people who are not Rishi Sunak, to work out how long they want that contest to be.
Yeah.
And then I think he will make a call. So basically, if you think about what's going to happen in Parliament before the summer, Rishi Sunak, I think, is clearly going to stay on until the summer. If he does, that means an awkward, embarrassing moment as leader of the opposition on Tuesday when the new speaker is elected. It means responding to the King's speech, and it means one Prime Minister's questions as leader of the opposition, and then he can ride off to the backbenches. That's not that embarrassing. But if he stays longer, then it's a lot of Prime Minister's questions. It's responding to a budget, which the leader of the opposition has to do. I can see why he wouldn't want to stomach that. But I do feel like the Conservative Party is inching towards a long contest.
I think there's no doubt about that.
Robert Jenrick on Laura's programme said that he would like that.
He did, and Michael Howard, also former leader and now in the House of Lords, he said that too. So
that's what he did.
He said it should be a long contest, and that is clearly, seems to me, that's where the sentiment is going. And this debate, though, about how long Sunak stays on is very up and running. So someone who was in the cabinet until 5 minutes ago, or until Thursday night, or until Friday morning, whenever it happened, said to me yesterday, look, if you can do 2 PMQs, why can't you do 9? Actually, this instability of just having a change and then another change, it would just get messy.
But do you both think there's a version where he goes at the end of July?
I think there is a version where he goes at the end of July. There's a suggestion maybe that even that Ian Duncan-Smith might step in as some kind of caretaker. I think that's probably more likely than... So someone like James Cleverly, I don't think that he has necessarily decided if he's going to run, but I can't see the appeal for somebody who sees himself possibly as one of the candidates of stepping into some kind of caretaker.
It would have to be someone who isn't a candidate.
Yeah, so Ian Duncan-Smith has been talked about possibly. Someone said to me yesterday, it seems a good idea to me, but I'm not sure if anyone's actually asked him. So we'll see. It's messy, though. It's very, very messy.
I'm going to supply a name now.
Go on, then.
Based on no contacts in Westminster, no knowledge. But I'm just listening.
It hasn't stopped lots of people.
No, but
I think you've got a lot more knowledge than you betray, Mr. O'Connell.
Well, Jeremy Hunt.
He said no.
No, I'm talking caretaker. Jeremy Hunt as caretaker. He's a clean player because he's said, I don't want it.
Well, that's
I do think he is, to everyone's shock, including his, suddenly a huge player in the debate over the future of the Conservative Party.
No doubt.
Even though he's not going to be a leadership candidate for the third time. I think suddenly the man who resisted the yellow tide in the home counties and Surrey and that sort of belt around London has a lot to say to the Conservative Party about how he did it. So I think that will count for a lot. I should also say, I think a lot of these questions will begin to get settled next week, not just because they'll all be back together in Parliament, but also because on Tuesday, the new Parliament will assemble for the formalities of electing a Speaker and being sworn in. And I just think there's no substitute for the Conservative MPs sitting together on the other side of the House of Commons to where almost all of them have ever sat, looking around and going, oh God, there's barely any of us.
Well,
and no one cares what we have to say.
On that, 15% of 100 is 15. And 15% of 121 is under 20. And aren't the rules to trigger...
18 Tory MPs
could trigger a leadership under the current rule.